Now, as Jesus and his disciples went on their way, he entered a certain village, where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to what he was saying. But Martha was distracted by her many tasks. So she came to Jesus and asked, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her then to help me." But the Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted by many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, which will not be taken away from her." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord. Often when we hear this gospel, we think of the importance of prayer. That prayer is at the heart of our lives, and it is. Prayer is really important. It's a priority. We've got to make time, find the time, make it. And it's true. But there's more to this story. There's a deeper message, I believe, that's at work here, and it's especially evident in the first reading, the reading of the story of Abraham. You'll remember how God called Abraham and Sarah out of their native land, their country, and said, "Come and follow me." And Abraham and Sarah go and they follow the Lord. They take on this new vocation, this new path. And they try to live it out to their best. For Abraham in particular, he doesn't always do it in the right way. He wants to follow God, he's trying, but sometimes he gets it wrong. We think of that, the biggest one that we see is how God had promised him a child, and there was no child yet. So Abraham has an affair with his servant lady, and has a child through her. This wasn't part of God's plan. This was Abraham inserting himself in and saying, okay, I'll figure it out, I'll find a way. But it was the wrong way. And it seems for quite some time after that, Abraham really struggled. Certainly in his relationship with Sarah, you can imagine. And now also with this second woman and with this son who's always, their relationship is always difficult, right? Very, very difficult. And not only that, but his relationship with God suffers. God seems to be distant and very silent with Abraham. He seems to have taken a step back after Abraham went off in this wrong direction. And what is Abraham doing? Does he give up? No. But it says that he was sitting at the heat of the day, and we know heat, right? Especially in this church. If you've been coming to any of the Novena Masses in particular, we know heat, right? Here at St. Anne's. But Abraham, it says, the middle of the day, the heat of the day, he was sitting at his tent watching. We might expect, and it's customary, to have a siesta, right? Take a break, have some rest. But Abraham is sitting and waiting and watching. And he sees these three angelic men pass by. And what does it say? He runs out. He runs out as fast as he can in order to stop them. And what does he want to do? He wants to stop them, to invite them to come to his place that they can find rest. That these angelic, these blessed beings, these creatures, that he can have them come and stay with him even if it's for a short time. They want to carry on, but he insists, come, find rest, and that he would prepare a meal for them with Sarah. And they come, and he does. And by the end of it, Abraham receives the blessing from these three angelic creatures. Abraham serves them, right? His big thing here, certainly prayer is at work, but in the midst of his prayer, reflecting in that heat of the day, he sees and he acts. He goes out and acts of service, right? Hospitality, kindness. If any of you have hosted someone, you know it's not an easy thing. All the preparation, the cleanup, everything, but Abraham wants to do it. And he does it as an act of faith. It's his faith that inspires him and leads him into doing this. Now, let's compare that to the gospel today with Martha and Mary. They also receive maybe an unexpected guest. Jesus comes to their house. He stops by to see them. They welcome him in, and they are ready to serve, especially Martha. She is running around trying to prepare everything. Again, we know what that's like. It's hard. It's not easy. We can understand fully when she says, Lord, tell my sister to help me, please. It's so much work. I need a hand. But yet, Jesus doesn't praise Martha. He doesn't, I don't know if he blesses Martha. He seems to bless Mary. What's the difference? That's what I would ask today. An important point for us to reflect on. What's the difference between Abraham, who served and was blessed, Martha, who served but was not blessed? What's the difference? Jesus tells us, he says, Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted by many things. Inside of Martha's heart, as she is serving, there is worry and distraction. Think about that, right? Worry and distraction. For us, it's not a choice between either you pray or you serve, right? Those aren't the options. But for the Christian, the option is I pray and I serve. I'm trying to fit these two together. That's what Abraham did so well. Finally, when those three angelic men passed by, he was able to do both. His kindness, his hospitality, his service, it was directly connected to his faith. And for Martha, they're separate. They're not together like Jesus wants them to be. What does that mean? For us, maybe today and this week and looking forward. For ourselves, certainly, when we're hosting, when we're receiving others, as we're doing acts of service, it's not enough just to say, I got the job done. It's not enough just to say that I did my part. But for us, we're aiming higher. We're aiming higher and we're trying to say, I want my service to be a reflection of my faith. For some people, they had this idea, when I receive a guest into my home, I'm receiving Jesus. I treat them, I serve them as if I was serving Jesus himself. That's a beautiful kind of incarnation or application of our faith, trying to make it a reality in our practical everyday lives. Another way that we connect our faith and what's going on in our lives directly is something that many of us have been doing this past week as we've been preparing for the Solemnity of St. Anne. So many have been coming in the evenings for this novena. I'm really surprised, right? I can't believe how many people come for these 9 days of novena and prayer to St. Anne. And not only who come, but so many who have been sharing with me blessings that they have received through the novena, real ones. And what's amazing connected to the readings is the connections between our faith, our belief, and the real world, our everyday lives. For many people, they come here and they pray to Jesus through St. Anne. They ask St. Anne for her intercession and prayers. They'll say, St. Anne, I'm struggling with this in my life. Pray to Jesus for me, to help me. That's bringing faith and life together, one. They may come asking for healing. And people have shared with me stories how they have received physical healings through this relic of the bone of St. Anne that we have before her statue here in our church. For other people, they have received spiritual and mental, maybe from mental illness, healings. Their health has improved. For others, they've shared how they have received conversion, where they didn't really have deep faith, but it was through that novena and through the prayers of St. Anne they believe that they have come to deeper faith in Jesus. And many more, and I'm sure many of you could share other stories that have happened to you or that you know have happened to others. This novena to St. Anne is powerful. It's powerful so powerful because it's doing what Abraham did. It's connecting faith, our belief, with our real lives, with what's really going on. Not two separate things, but one thing together. For us this week, think about that. Spend some time thinking about, I can't live in a schizophrenic way, right? I can't be here with my faith, here with the rest of my life, or my action, my service, all of these things. But that my purpose, my goal is to bring them together and to look for ways to do that.